Hey, it's Paul Demore from Ministry, and I'm here with Heavy Consequence.
Hey everyone, it's Spencer from Heavy Consequence. I'm here with Paul from Ministry. Thank you for being here.
Yo.
Cool. So, you've been with Ministry for a few years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Al Jourgensen is one of the most interesting characters in music, and I wanted to know, what's it like kind of being on the road with Uncle Al?
Oh, I mean, he's great. You know, he's this, I don't know, the progenitor of such great music on so many different levels, and inspired me. It's been interesting to play in this band because I feel like Ministry has been part of my personal zeitgeist since I first heard them, and just affected my musical journey too. So I don't know, it feels like my music in a weird way, you know.
Yeah, and he's been very prolific in the studio lately. And last I spoke to Al, I think Moral Hygiene had just come out, and he said he already had another Ministry album in the can. He had a Lard album. Have you been working with him in the studio, and can you tell us about like maybe what we can expect?
The pandemic happened and all that, you know, so like a lot of bands, we just focused our time in the studio, and you know, since you can't travel anywhere, then you know that's what happens. And I think in the process of that, a lot of new music sort of is still coming together, and lots of leftover songs and a bunch of new stuff too. So always creating. That's what we do.
Yeah, and what's it like working? You said you were a fan of the band before you became a member of the band. What's it like working with Al from a creative standpoint?
I mean, Al's a mad genius. You know, he has this incredible sense of what's good, and pushing the envelope, and always trying to do new things with what with music, but at the same time keeping aware of what's going on in the world. And I think that's a really important part of Ministry.
Yeah.
is the political aspects and the environmental and just the world at large, you know, not just introspective, whiny shit, you know.
Yeah, and if anyone's not afraid to put that out there, it's Al.
Yeah, exactly.
And even of late, he's even been more political than ever.
Yeah. Well.
And there's an infamous story that Al once told, and I don't know, you can get to the bottom of it. He said back in the day, '92, Lollapalooza, he handed you, when you were a member of Tool, he handed you and Maynard James Keenan a bottle of Bushmills that he forgot was laced with LSD. And he said
it wasn't Maynard. Maynard wasn't there.
Okay.
It was just me.
It was just you.
Yeah.
Could you corroborate that story and tell me what happened?
Our manager was one at the time. Ted Gardner was one of the producers of Lollapalooza, and we were, he invited us and came. I'm like, oh, I'm a huge Ministry fan, so we ended up hanging out and partying with the Ministry camp. And I didn't know. He was like walking out the door. He handed me a bottle of Bushmills. He goes, "Here you go, kid. Knock it back." Little did I know there was like medical grade Timothy Leary level LSD in the bit of that. So. So the show was very interesting for me. The skies turned purple, came down, and kids were lighting shit on fire. It was amazing. Post-apocalyptical, psychedelic experience.
Did it take a while to come down from that?
I don't know.
You can't remember.
It's all good. Whatever it is, it's all good. It was amazing.
I did want to ask you, because it is the 30th anniversary of Opiate, and if you don't mind, just talking about your memories of recording and releasing that EP.
I mean, that was changed my life, that record, I feel like at the time we kind of just went from 0 to 100 really quickly with that band, and so that was part of that process, and us discovering how to make music and how to find our voice, and that was part of that moment. It was cool.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, as far as memories of it, it's a bit of a blur at 30 years later, but it was very influential,
Yeah.
for me. I never dreamed that it would be as popular now that it was